This is George from High Tech Legion. After about a year of a rumor mill about NVIDIA's Maxwell GPUs, we're actually getting a look at the first of them. In a different marketing strategy than we've seen in the past, NVIDIA's not releasing the flagship first. Instead, they're releasing two mainstream pieces, the GTX 750 and the GTX 750 Ti, which slot in the $130 to $150 bracket. Now, big thing about Maxwell here is lower TDP. It's down to 60 watts, which allows the 750 and the 750 Ti to be powered only from the PCI Express slot. Also, we're seeing 135% performance per core, so about a 35% performance increase per core from last generation, as well as 2 times performance per watt. So that 60 watt TDP is really a big deal. Also, you'll be able to use it with only a 300 watt PSU. Now, today we're going to get a look at MSI's first take on the 750 Ti, which includes an overclock, the 750 Ti Gaming Edition. Now, first thing we notice about the MSI 750 Ti Gaming Edition, the reference 750 Ti is a short board. Obviously, the MSI version is not. It is a completely proprietary board. It's not a short board, measures out at about 248 millimeters. So do make sure you have room for that. If you are looking at it, if you're looking at a 750 Ti reference and thinking that the MSI is going to be a short board also, it's not. It's a full board. Once again, like I say, complete MSI design. Now let's get a quick look at the box. Obviously, MSI box, Twin Frozr Gaming Edition, Overclock Edition. The overclock on this card goes from 1020 on the base clock up to 1085, which means it's taking the boost clock up from 1085 up to 1150. So you get a good size overclock here, and there's more headroom for more overclocking in the card itself. Now, moving over to the back of the box, as you see, comes with the gaming app, easy one click for 3 different profiles of speeds and fan control. Military class 4 components used on the board. Really excellent quality on the board itself. Highly improved capacitors for longer life, lower temperatures. Also, you're going to get better power delivery. This is going to allow for better overclocking and more stability. So you really do get quite a bit right there. Twin Frozr 2 thermal design. I can't tell you enough how well this thermal design actually works on this card, as you're going to see very soon. Really fabulous with the 2 80mm fans, low speed. As you can see, they give you the standard chart, that says, hey, ours is a lot better than reference, but we already know that. They do give you an application for screen captures as well as video capture right off the screen. And of course, all the features of the card itself. 2 gigabytes of DDR5, TXAA capable, NVIDIA GPU boost, of course, PhysX, FXAA capable, adaptive VSync, NVIDIA Surround, etc. NVIDIA 3D ready, of course, OpenGL 4.4 ready, and NVIDIA Shield ready. So you get all of the Maxwell features in here. Now, the Maxwell GM107 itself features 640 CUDA cores and 2 64-bit memory controllers, which is going to be taking care of that 2 gigs of DDR5 that are built on board. Now, looking at the card itself, as you can see, the Twin Frozr system, really nice looking system. Good, nice, solid plate. As you can see, there's a serious heatsink down here under these fans. Now, moving over, taking a look, the heatsink runs basically from end to end on the card. As you can see, 2 very large direct touch heat pipes. One appears to be 10 millimeter, the other appears, or I should say 8 millimeter, the other appears to be a 6 millimeter. It's not actually listed in the specs, but definitely that's what it appears. And as you can see, going up through a very large heatsink that runs, like I say, end to end on the card. Over on the other side, you've got the MSI logo, obviously going to be in the case this way, so the MSI logo will be facing up. And right here, you've got a side support. Since it's not a short card, to prevent sag, MSI does include a support which is well attached to the PCI Express expansion slot holder itself. And that's really a big deal as far as sagging. You don't want board sag. Board sag is going to increase the chance of microfracturing, which will down the road degrade performance or cause the card to stop working entirely. So looking at the circuit board itself, really nice black circuit board. As you see, very well laid out, very well designed, very well put together. Now, Got your PCI Express 3.0 on one side, and there is no SLI capability, so there is no SLI connector on the other side. Moving over, got DVI, RGB, and HDMI, all right on the back of the card itself. 2-slot card, as you see, with the MSI logo built into the vents. So really nice looking card. Especially you've got the MSI Gaming Series logo right there with all the red trim. So if you're doing a black and red or a ROG or MSI Gaming Series, you're going to get a great look within the case. Definitely going to match up well with your components. In terms of accessories, there's no hardware included with the MSI GTX 750 Ti Gaming. What you get is a quick user's guide. Obviously, very, very simple installation, as well as driver and utility CD. The utility CD has MSI Afterburner Predator, as well as the MSI gaming software. So let's get a look at the software included with the MSI 750 Ti Gaming. First thing we see is the MSI Gaming app. Very, very small application, as you see, with 4 buttons. That is all there is to it. Now, I'm going to bring up Afterburner just because I do need that to show you exactly what's going on with the gaming app. Now, if you take a look here, everything across the board, your power limit set to 100, core clock set to +0. Now, +0 on this card is the factory overclock of 1,150 megahertz. That's important to keep in mind. That is the default here. So memory clock set to +0, fan speed on auto. So moving over, the default is the overclock mode, like I say, 1,150 megahertz. When you move over to gaming mode, we'll see Afterburner come back, and you'll notice it's dropped the core clock 26 megahertz down to 1,124 megahertz. So you get a little bit of a drop in the core clock. MSI explains gaming mode is a stable, environment, etc. However, the default overclock mode is no problems whatsoever, and we had no problems with temperature, that's for sure. Never topped 52 degrees, and the fan speed never left this 32%, even on auto. We're stated about 960 RPM through all of our testing. Next, you have silent mode. What that does, it drops the core clock by 65 megahertz down to the reference speed of 1,085 megahertz on the 750 Ti. So basically what you'll wind up with there, also still on auto with fan speed. So you're downclocked to a reference card here. Now, they do say, it is silent mode. Like I say, with the cooler that is on the MSI 750 Ti Gaming, it's become completely superfluous, these two settings, because it never gets hot. Through all testing, it never topped 52 degrees, and it never once had the fan spin up over, 960 RPM. So, you're really kind of, it's nice to have them here, but they're really unnecessary. The OC mode can be kept on all the time. Finally, you have the little snowflake. If you do happen to get some heat, hit snowflake, and for 40 seconds, fans will spin up to 100%, as you see, and they'll stay that way for 40 seconds, then go back down in order to cool off the card should you need it. But like I say, with the cooling that MSI has done here, not a problem at all. Running it in OC mode all the time, and it stays dead silent. In recent generations, AMD's pretty much owned the synthetic test, but that's not what we're seeing here. Obviously, Firestrike score is very close, a little bit better in the Unigen, and obviously better in Testmark, which is, in fact, weighted towards NVIDIA, so we kind of do throw that out. In terms of DX11 games, the performance of the 750 Ti Gaming is fantastic. MSI did a great job here. No question about that. The overclock, as you can see, definitely adds to the performance without a problem. Now, moving on, as we see also, looking at the temperature and power consumption, very, very low power consumption, 141 watts of total system power. But what's really impressive is those top temperatures of 52 degrees with the card never being audible outside the case. Okay, looking at overclocking the 750 Ti Gaming, very, very simple. First off, if you've got the gaming app installed, start in OC mode, obviously. That's going to bring you, with everything, like we say, power limit to 100%, core clock 0, memory clock 0, and you're going to be running at 1150 megahertz to begin with. So let's get that out of the way and we'll move into Afterburner. You have no control over the voltage of this card. There's no voltage bump available for the 750 Ti. That's a reasonable thing to see. You know, it is being powered by the PCI Express slot, so you don't want to overvolt. You're running close to the limit of the PCI Express slot, so you don't want to damage your motherboard or the PCI Express slot itself. So obviously very reasonable to see no control there. Now, power limiter is already set to 100%, and it's not going anywhere up from there, like we say once again, because of the PCI Express slot power. Now, core clock, we started nudging it up, and end of the day, we took the slider all the way over to 135 megahertz and did not have a problem at all. Card ran completely stably, and more importantly, completely quietly. Once again, with the fan speed on auto, never broke 960 RPM, and the card never topped 53 degrees with that overclock to 1295 megahertz. With it there, we actually had the boost clock running at 1350 through all of our benchmarks, didn't budge, never downclocked, easiest overclock you can imagine. We were then able to bump the memory clock up to an extra 240, and actually had to key it in, 240 with everything staying stable. So, and once again, of course, never topped 53 degrees, fan never sped up. I can't say enough about how well MSI did with cooling this card and keeping it absolutely silent. Really just phenomenal. So let's take a look at what that bump did, as we did get a really nice performance gain from the overclock. So in the case, the MSI 750 Ti Gaming has a really nice look. Not a tiny little card, as we say. It's 248 millimeters, so it is a good sized card. As you can see, the cooling system itself looks really nice. Nice finish to it with the MSI logo on the side. Doesn't look like a tiny little baby card in the case. Doesn't look like it's going to be a low power consumption card. It looks like a real gaming card. So now, what do you wind up with here? The MSI 750 Ti Gaming offered really incredible performance at the price point. Very, very low power consumption, and absolutely outstanding cooling. It really was top of class as far as price point in every test we threw at it. So it's a big, big boost there. And with only the 60 watt TDP on it, that's fantastic. This is huge for people who want to run 1080 gaming on medium to high settings. Also for people who don't want to use power supply with PCI Express connectors, or can't, people who have bought off-the-shelf desktop units and want an upgrade so they can game. It's a perfect choice, as you see here. Once again, I can't stress enough, the cooling system, that 52 degrees, absolutely incredible, and dead silent. It was completely inaudible outside of the case. I'm going to give the MSI 750 Ti Boost High-Tech Legion Editor's Choice Award. The overclock gave it a nice boost from the reference in terms of performance, and it was overclockable beyond there for even further performance boost, and it was a very noticeable performance boost. So once again, MSI 750 Ti Gaming High-Tech Legion Editor's Choice Award.